me personally, I've been keeping up with college football for a very long time, but I'm going to tell you firsthand, these are two of the craziest rumors I've ever seen in my life. And if they are true, it would turn college football upside down. I'm not going to lie to you guys, I'm sad, and matter of fact, scratch that, I'm really sad because around this time tomorrow night, the college football season will officially be over. I'm not dumb, of course, I always knew this season was going to end on January 9th, but today, it really hit me. As I was watching some of the NFL games today, and by the way, I hope you guys saw some of them games today because they were awesome, but anyways, as I was watching them, I was thinking, I was like, man, it's really over after tomorrow. What a shame that is, but I do gotta say this and I want to make it clear, this college football season has been awesome. There were so many awesome and crazy upsets this year, and on this channel, we made so many great memories, and I want you to know I'm thankful for that. It feels like it was just yesterday I was having to shave my head after Alabama lost to Tennessee, but regardless of all that, we're here to talk about the crazy rumors that are going on. One of those said rumors is involving the man, the myth, the legend himself, Jim Harbaugh, and he's been in the news a lot recently. We've already talked about how a lot of people think he's going to go back to the NFL, and it's already been made clear he's at least interviewing for the jobs. Now, whether he leaves Michigan or not, nobody really knows, but he's been interviewing. But even with all of that going on, if that wasn't enough for you, we now have some new information being leaked out about Jim Harbaugh in Michigan, and there's currently an NCAA investigation going on. And when you hear or find out what I'm about to tell you in this video, I can guarantee you it's going to shock you. You're going to have to trust me, take my word for it on this one. It's interesting to say the least. And also, one of the other crazy rumors, this is probably the biggest one out of them all, Ohio State star wide receiver, he's going to be a top 10 NFL draft pick, not this year, but next year, Marvin Harrison Jr., there's rumors going on that he will be leaving Ohio State. Yes, that's right, you heard me correctly, and you already know what it's going to involve. No other than the good old NIL, aka name, image, and likeness. I'm excited for this video because I don't know what to believe at this point, and I just want to know what you guys think about this down below. Alright, Matt, shut the crap up. You know how it goes. If you like the content, consider subscribing. If you don't want to, that's cool too. Alright, Matt, blah, 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 shut the crap up. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. I realize I repeated myself twice in the intro, but it is what it is. Let's just jump straight into things. Look, I don't have time to waste. You don't have time to waste. About 2 or 3 days ago, I had a bunch of you sending me stuff on Instagram and Twitter about how Jim Harbaugh, Michigan, they're being investigated by the NCAA. And I already addressed that. I told you guys I didn't think it was a big deal because this isn't something crazy going on where Jim Harbaugh bought a kid a car or they bought a kid with $1 million. It was nothing like that. At the time when all of this came out, which was about 2 or 3 days ago, nobody knew exactly what these allegations were about. However, we now have some new information and yeah, just buckle up for this. So apparently, according to all the sources out there, Jim Harbaugh and Michigan are being investigated by the NCAA because he bought a recruit a hamburger when he was on a visit. I'm going to repeat that, and yes, you heard me correctly. Jim Harbaugh, Michigan, is being investigated by the NCAA because he bought a recruit a hamburger. Not even a cheeseburger. We couldn't even upgrade to a $4.79 cheeseburger. It was just your plain old $4.29 hamburger. And even at that, it wasn't even the combo meal. He didn't get a drink. He got no bev, no nothing. It was just the burger. When I first saw this, I wish you guys could have saw my reaction to it. I just dropped my mouth. I didn't know what to say. Probably like some of you watching this, you're sitting there going, is this actually true or is this a joke? That was my reaction. I didn't believe it, but apparently it's true. Now, granted, yes, technically, if you go look it up, which I did, this is against the NCAA rules. Because technically, according to the NCAA, this is quote-unquote bribing a player. I just think it's comical and laughable because last year, USC and Lincoln Riley gave Jordan Addison $3 million, bought him and his mom a house, and the NCAA didn't even bat an eye. The NCAA was like, oh yeah, well, that's a part of the NIL, no coincidence there. And we ain't even going to look into that. But Jim Harbaugh buying a kid a $4 burger? Hey, what's going on up in Ann Arbor? We got to take a look at this. Look, I'm not going to sit up here and rant for 6 to 8 minutes of how corrupt the NCAA is because we know this. Is anybody shocked by the NCAA being this low down? No. The NCAA is the NCAA. They're one of the most corrupt organizations of all time. Another reason I find this funny is because Texas, when they was recruiting Arch Manning, and I believe it was about 8 or 9 other recruits, the school spent $280,000 on their recruiting visits. We talked about this months ago, but Texas gave them 5-star hotels, gave them nice cars to ride in, gave the parents an open bar, custom cakes, unlimited access to Topgolf. By the way, Topgolf is not cheap, and ice sculpture and a lake cruise. This was just on a recruiting visit. Yet Michigan and Jim Harbaugh is being investigated for buying a kid who was probably hungry at the time a burger. What are we doing, man? What are we doing? And apparently also this kid was already committed to Michigan, so it wasn't even like a determining factor in his recruitment. And the big deal about this too, I do need to throw this in there, I almost forgot to, Jim Harbaugh did lie about the situation. He said he didn't, and the NCAA, they found receipts. But still, I mean, come on now. Are we really about to make a fuss about a $4 burger? And I know I've said it time after time, and I sound like a broken record player, but I can't believe it. Let me give you an example. This is the equivalent to an officer pulling you over because you got 5% tint on your windows. With all the crime and just bad stuff going on out there, people actually breaking the laws and doing terrible things, you're really going to pull someone over for having tint on their windows? You see what I'm saying? This is getting ridiculous, man. And let's just say, for example, Jim Harbaugh, he did break the rules. He did lie about this. I just feel like certain things you got to look at and be like, okay, we're going to let it slide. This is the equivalent to somebody robbing a bank, the police looking at it, and then they also see a guy jaywalking across the street and they go, yeah, let's get that guy. We can't allow jaywalking in our city. But meanwhile, somebody's robbing a bank and they're not even going to do anything about that. And that sounds like a crazy comparison, but that's what's going on with this. We're talking about a burger, man. This ain't even the combo meal. Now, here's the thing. If this was a Five Guys burger, we'd be having a completely different conversation. Some of you may think I'm trying to be funny with that, I'm trying to troll, but I am not. I mean that 100%. A Five Guys burger is a completely different story. If you've been there, you know what I'm talking about. I'm going to end this off here before I get too amped up. I hope and I pray this is not true. If this is true, it is sad, and that's the only word to use. But moving on to our main topic, or our second main topic, main encore, whatever you want to call it, we got to talk about Ohio State. Yet again, it feels like we talked about him so much recently, and their star wide receiver, Marvin Harrison Jr. Recently, in the past couple of days, I've seen so many Ohio State fans saying, oh, well, if Marvin Harrison Jr. wouldn't have got hurt in the championship game, but the semifinal game, we would have beat Georgia. To all my Ohio State fans, I definitely can relate to how you feel, because as an Alabama fan myself, I went through the same thing last year. We was beating Georgia. Jamison Williams was going off yet again against them, and he got hurt, and well, we lose the game. I feel where you're coming from, but I'm going to tell you this, it'll make you feel much better if you just say, hey, injuries are a part of the game, and you move on. It's going to drive you crazy if you continue to play the what-if game. The bottom line is, injuries are a part of the game, and you had some bad luck, and that's how the ball rolls. That's how the ball rolls. Is that even a saying? I don't know, but you get what I'm trying to say. Look, if this makes you feel any better, you probably would have beat Georgia if Marvin Harrison Jr. didn't get hurt, but we'll never know. And let's just end that off there. Speaking of Marvin Harrison Jr., there's been a lot of rumors going on the past couple of weeks, and I've been following these really closely, that he's going to transfer and leave Ohio State. Before I read these off, let me make these clear. Yet again, I got to make it clear all throughout the video. These are rumors. These aren't even coming from me. I'm just the messenger. I'm just the messenger, man. I'm here to give you the news, and yeah, let's just check it out. This is according to Recruits College Football on Instagram, and they're not the only people who have talked about this. I've seen this all over Twitter. I've seen people on ESPN talk about it. So it's not like one random guy has made this up. I've seen it everywhere. Trending. Over the last couple of weeks, but especially a few days, there's been significant buzz on social media about USC getting Ohio State wide receiver Marvin Harrison Jr. to transfer to the Trojans. Harrison Jr. is widely considered the best wide receiver in college football and is such an elite all-around prospect, it's hard to poke any holes in his game, and he looks to be a slam dunk top 10 pick and first receiver taken in next year's draft, which I do agree with. I know this is a long read, but all of it is very important to our situation. He played his high school ball in Pennsylvania, nearby current Trojan quarterback Caleb Williams. The two likely have a connection, and Williams will head into next season regarded as the best player and obvious #1 draft pick. This could potentially carry weight with current Buckeyes quarterback CJ Stroud bound for the NFL. Continuing along here, and of course, the leading factor here could certainly be the NIL. The NIL can be very confusing and plays a huge factor in almost every single recruitment. It's important that the athletes, parents, teachers, and those who are part of their lives fully understand the whole process. Interesting. But check on this comment. Ohio State's backup quarterback was literally his high school quarterback, referring to Marvin Harrison Jr. Here's another couple of great comments. Let's think about this. Leave a school where you're the wide receiver #1 and on a top 4 team in the nation and still make money, and you're getting developed probably to be a top 10 pick, or go to USC to lose 2 games. Below that, it's an interesting move. If he does it, scheme-wise, you're playing with a better quarterback and offense that could be unstoppable. For most guys, I'd absolutely buy the NIL argument, but not here. He's already blessed with generational wealth. there has to be a competitive angle on some level. I agree with that comment the most, and that is one of the best points you're ever going to see in this conversation. The name, image, and likeness, NIL, whatever you want to call it, it has no play in this whatsoever. For those of you that don't understand why, I'll explain this to you in the simplest way possible. Marvin Harrison Jr. is pretty much guaranteed at this point a $30 million contract in the NFL. Even if he gets hurt next year, we saw with Jameson Williams, he's still going to be one of the top wide receivers taken off the board. Could and would USC offer Marvin Harrison Jr. $3 to $4 million? Yes, but that's kind of chump change to him. I get it, to people like me and you, $3 to $4 million, that's life changing, but to Harrison Jr., it's not. He's going to be in the NFL and make probably 3 to 4x that amount. As far as it goes for me, I'm going to be brutally honest in this next statement. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. leaving Ohio State to go to USC, that'd be a terrible decision. It'd be idiotic. And I get it. Somebody's going to say, well, oh, Matt, he'd be playing for a better quarterback than Caleb Williams. I don't care about that. I don't care who you are. If you transfer and go to another school, it's going to take you a while to get along with those teammates and just develop and get used to the system. Harrison Jr. is already used to Ohio State. He knows the playbook. And I don't care who the quarterback is next year, he's going to be just fine. This kid's a baller, and ballers ball no matter who the quarterback is going to be or whatever the situation is. And look what happened last year. Jordan Addison, top wide receiver in the country, he goes to USC. And I'm not going to say he fell off, but he did not have that great of a season. And he kind of did fall off low-key. Me personally, I've been keeping up with college football for a very long time, but I'm going to tell you firsthand, these are two of the craziest rumors I've ever seen in my life. And if they are true, it would turn college football upside down. If Jim Harbaugh and Michigan get a punishment for buying a kid a $4 hamburger and Marvin Harrison Jr. leaves Ohio State to go to USC, think about the chaos that would ensue. You're going to suspend, you're going to fine, you're going to punish Michigan for giving a kid basically $4, but yet you're not going to bat an eye and you're going to say it's okay for Marvin Harrison Jr. to be tampered with and leave Ohio State and go to USC for millions of dollars. Because that's what it is. And Marvin Harrison Jr. even confirmed it at media days before they played Georgia that schools are reaching out to him, which is tampering. But nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about that, and that's the real problem, not a coach buying a recruit a meal. Do I believe what's currently going on with Marvin Harrison Jr. is true? Yes and no. I do believe that USC is reaching out to him, but I don't believe he's even considering leaving Ohio State. I just think it's people trying to stir up stuff. I am curious, though. Let me know your thoughts down below. But